Welcome, everybody, to a special Thanksgiving episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate our favorites in TV and film. I am your host, Xavier, and today we are actually going to be celebrating our Turkey Day festivities by talking about a highly anticipated, I don't know if it's like too early to call it cult classic, but um, we're going to be talking about a new addition to the slasher film Hall of Fame, so to speak. So if you've guessed correctly based on the day, you are right. We are going to be talking about Thanksgiving, directed by Eli Roth. And with me today, virtually, are two of the Popcorn Watchlist panelists. We've got Danny,
What's up?
and we have Anthony with his
Hel-
background.
Hello.
So gentlemen, we're talking about gruesome slasher flick probably a couple hours before we're going to be eating food, so great way to set the mood. Have some interesting talks with the family, maybe swerve away from any awkward conversations with another awkward one about a movie. But
We could just talk about this instead.
exactly, and everybody will be like, dude, what the hell? And then you'll be like, good, no one has to ask me when am I getting married or other random questions like that.
What?
So not really the case with
Who's
Anthony.
gonna ask you when you're getting married?
I don't know,
Shouldn't
You
they
never know.
say you need to be with someone before you get married, don't you?
Exactly. So they start with the end result and they want to work backwards. They're like, "Yo,
Nice.
is this gonna happen?" Um, but let's kind of get some context about why a movie, a slasher film about Thanksgiving, set in Thanksgiving and in Plymouth, Massachusetts, actually got made. So I'm gonna swing it over to Anthony, and he can give us some little background of a little history lesson of how this movie got made.
So this movie is based off a fake trailer from the double feature movie Grindhouse that came out in 2007. I don't know if many people watched it. Actually was able to watch it, luckily in theaters, so I saw the whole, maybe almost 3.5 hour movie. It was such a great time. Both movies were fun. The first one was a little bit better with Planet Terror, but yeah, they Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez made two separate old school 70s type horror movies, and in between them they had fake trailers that they had other friends of theirs, other directors make, and this was one of them, along with Machete, which was made into two movies in the past like 10 years or so.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, it's just crazy that there's another one of the fake trailers that they decided to Eli Roth decided to finally make an actual feature length movie out of it.
they
But
also made a. They also, I think, I never got to watch it, but it's kind of wild that they made it. Was Hobo with a Shotgun?
yes,
Like,
I don't know if that was it wasn't in the movie. That trailer wasn't in the movie, but they definitely made that trailer like in the same vein after, I think a little bit afterwards.
yeah,
But
like
yeah,
they
it
wanted
was
to
the
make
same
it to
thing.
submit it for it, like to
Hmm.
put it there. Like, so it's basically like it just like yeah, all those trailers have this like real grimy, like almost definitely intentional old school look. Like if you look at Don't and like Werewolf Women of the SS, and even this one like Thanksgiving, like it has that like really nasty grainy like, hey, I've got 14 bucks, let's make a movie kind of feel.
Hmm.
But it's friggin' awesome. Like it's definitely on the Eli Roth range of gruesome.
Yeah,
Like
it's like gruesome, ridiculous, over the top. Um, but yeah, funny. Like the trailer's funny yet nasty, and the movie I would say is not as nasty, but it's still pretty truthful to how the trailer made it look.
yeah,
Um,
surprisingly, like the move they found a way to expand on it. I think in a really uh kind of natural way that made sense, and it wasn't like again like we expected something to just be completely ridiculously over the top, and we got some of that, but at the same time like the whole kind of like basis and uh like base level establishment of what the movie is kind of setting up actually like sort of makes sense in its kind of wild stuff. Like I know like we have to talk about like going right into it, like how are you gonna make a movie about a weird pilgrim slasher killer guy? And maybe going in, not maybe, we will be going into spoilers. So if you kind of want to like keep some of the surprises to yourself, we recommend going and watching the movie first before you listen to this episode. So, spoilers beware. But I'll take it over to Danny, who was, kind of the freshest person on this within the little panel today to figure out what this was gonna be like. So this opening sequence, we get like a
Oh my god.
wild Plymouth, Massachusetts, like
On a
pseudo
Black
Walmart
Friday.
Black Friday deal. Not even, it's like Black Friday Eve.
Yeah.
So it was like
Like
really, out there.
literally
Like,
Thanksgiving, just like at 6 p.m.
yeah, like that whole scene was the setup for the movie. What did you think?
It was over the top ridiculousness, and it was exactly what I wanted. Like
Absolutely.
even just the waiting in the line, like the people waiting in line outside, and just
There's
like how
so
it's
many people.
slowly, slowly getting worse and just more chaotic for a free, like waffle
It's a
maker
waffle
thing.
iron. Like, it's just a waffle iron.
Like it's
I'm
not
just
even
like,
like a TV or anything,
it's just like this doorbuster. Hey, you're gonna get a free waffle iron. Like,
It's
and
and
like
even
only the first
before,
100 people.
right. It's like people will go crazy for anything.
and
Yeah.
like the first like scene at first, that there's a family dinner. Like, we're
Mhm.
expecting like, oh man, it's gonna be bad. Like, no, this is your typical like la la la, hey, family thing and whatnot, and oh, I gotta go into work early, the Thanksgiving, and like one guy is business mogul and being all, big shot, and like establishing some of the main characters, and we're gonna go hang out, and like, no, screw that, we're gonna go to the, Black Friday deal, which is kind of ironic considering the main character, her dad runs this like
The
Walmart-esque
store.
store.
Yeah.
Lewis Litt from Suits.
That's right. Yeah, man, that was pretty cool to see him in other stuff. He's good. He's a good actor. But he like I think her name was Jessica. Yeah, I think it was
I
Jessica.
honestly don't remember anybody's name in this movie.
All I
The
remember was
the main
Scuba
girl is Jessica. Yeah.
and
Oh,
Scuba.
okay.
Yeah, it was Jessica.
Oh,
Yeah, and
Scuba.
Scuba.
Yeah.
It's just like what? Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to him in a little bit. But you had also, I think it was Billy the kid with the golden arm. He
I
had
don't know.
the
Bobby.
golden
Bobby.
Bobby. Yeah. But it was great because like that whole chaotic scene, you have the security guards kind of just like, what's going on? Like, oh, we hired security, and you have like basically your
The
typical
one
mass
security guy
holes.
just like walks out. He's like,
Yeah,
I'm done.
I'm done. This is out of hand. But like you have all these like typical mass holes, like really like go like just riling everybody up, and it's the same guy. Turns out like they got into a fight with one of the other main characters, and it's like, oh cool, this stuff's kind of sort of connected, and it just it gets nuts to the point where like, dude, the moment I knew Anthony is like, dude, this is hilarious, is like they sneak in for the back and they're like, yo, let's grab a football. You're like, for real?
Just
Like,
start playing
He's just
in
like
the
that's,
middle of the
and then
store.
and then that guy who I think he was the quarterback. I don't know. They never really explained if he was
I
the
think he
quarterback or not.
was.
But he
Yeah.
grabbed the football and threw it and like missed. Like he didn't even throw it right to his
He's
friend.
not even
Like,
good. He's not even
oh
good
my
at his,
god.
and so like from there, like the people start getting to the door, and like the door, that dude, that crack, we're just like, no way. Like
This the
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 way that
spider
the
web.
the
crackling all the way
windows of
up.
the windows cracked were ridiculous.
Yeah, and so
It was
like
like
the one
Iceman was there.
and then like the one of the main characters, or like one of the guy who had to go into work early, his wife is there to give him some dinner, like early Thanksgiving dinner, and like just, and then the main Patrick Dempsey's character, who's like the main sheriff of the town, he's there due to like, help with extra security, and like people just decide they open it up, and like, oh, just open up, and then like, you know basically, a Black Friday riot ensued. It was like, but
Poor
that the whole
security guy.
the way it was, yeah, the one security dude gets trampled to death, like, then there's also
Stabbed
this
in the
one,
jugular.
yeah, and then there's
Well,
this
no,
other
that was
guy,
just like a customer
a
trying to get
customer, that
into the
he got
door.
Oh,
sliced
that's
because
right.
of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Yeah.
the guy got sliced, but like he's bleeding and he's like, I need to get my waffle iron. And then this Gina Gershon's character, like, this poor woman gets trampled, and then like with a shopping cart just gets like knocked the hell out, and like that death, I was like, okay, she's knocked out, she may lose some blood, but then like she's getting scalped, I was like, there's no way you're dying from that, but like the blood
Oof.
loss is too much. I was like,
I
damn.
think she died beforehand because the
So she
the
She
double
lady
looked
like
like
died.
she was out.
yeah, the
Yeah,
lady smacked her like head, snapped her neck with the
with the
cart,
cart.
the
I
grocery
thought it
store
was just
cart.
like she got knocked out. Like, I didn't know if it
No,
was
dude.
concussed.
I don't know. They
Like,
made it seem like her like head and neck like not twisted, but like bent, that it was a
Yeah,
hard enough hit for her neck to
like
break or something. And then on top of that,
like
her
the
hair
gong.
gets stuck in the what, the wheel of the cart.
Yeah, and they're just like, and then at the same time, that lady who's like driving the cart is mad at someone else because she thinks the cart's getting like stuck because of that
Stuck
guy.
with the
Hmm.
yeah.
Like,
And then
dude,
they just keep pulling like moving it.
Pandemonium,
yeah,
pandemonium.
it was pure pandemonium. Like everybody's all messed up, and then like one of the kids, is like on top of the counter, like shooting video and like making a wild video, and like we
It's
think
gonna
like,
be viral.
yeah, it's like you don't know. And like that was that whole raucous, like there's like a couple crazy deaths there, and then we get Bobby who's like, I'm gonna save the security guard, and like I'm calling it. I'm like, dude, this kid's gonna get his arm broken. They keep talking about his golden arm, and immediately it just gets stepped on. It's
It
like,
was so
The
brutal.
the amount of so such obvious foreshadowing of things that were gonna happen in later on in this movie is ridiculous.
like it does that. Like that's the one thing we gotta
They
talk
do it
about
like
this
four
movie.
times at
They
least,
do
at
it like
least.
four times, but like it's still like done so well, if that makes any sense. Like it's just like perfectly cheesy.
I don't know if it's well, but yeah,
It's
cheesy.
well
It's
Yeah.
it's
done.
like it's like it's made for you to actually like
It's like
Oh
it's
yeah, remember when
see.
they said that 30 minutes ago?
Yeah, it's like you know this is gonna happen. Like it's like come on, like it's sort of like not. It's
Like
like
there
the
was one
fake.
with
It-
the where
it- it's
We
it's
Jessica was like, "Oh, I know how to do like the fire powder and the gun and like
oh
yeah.
yeah, just like
Oh
gunpowder."
I don't
yeah,
like guns. I know how to just load a musket, and we're like, you know that's coming back. It's like
Yeah, that
Chekhov's musket. Chekhov's musketoon. Like that was like you knew that that was gonna like come back. The same thing with like the obviously like the John Carver mask. It's just funny. You have like the sheriff is like, this thing's gonna be the most popular thing ever. And it's like, oh boy, you don't even know. But then like after the whole opening sequence, like we get to the whole like 1 year later aftermath. So it's very reminiscent of like, I know what you did last summer, and like some of these other like initial like tragedy, and then there's like the slasher person gets the revenge on all that stuff. So we start getting all these like these these kills that are foreshadowing like this major like Thanksgiving revenge thing because of what happened last year. So like that first kill in the diner, like that was like I have to give it because I didn't see any of the trailers for this movie because I didn't want to be spoiled. But the whole idea of like them putting their of the John Carver killer putting this girl's face in water and then putting it in the ice box, like that was legit. I was like, hey,
I,
like that's gruesome but pretty that's smart.
I thought he was gonna shove her in the cooler and just like keep her there, like have her freeze to death or
And
something.
freeze to death. No,
Hmm.
I think because remember, like that axe was legit, and also again, like they're like, oh, we had this big old massive axe, and someone stole the axe. I'm like, thank God,
yeah,
like
of
we already
course.
know what's
But
going down.
they had to like spell it out. He's like, now we can't do the photo shoot, and he's like, and then like at the very end of the scene, you hear that character in the background saying, "And they took the axe." Like,
Yeah, they took a historical landmark, the John Carver house, and it's an axe. And then you see then the John Carver killer like just sharpening up the axe and getting all up in there. It's nuts. And like that whole diner sequence, like at first I was like, man, that's this is brutal. But then like, oh, they're getting away. But that first kill, like completely like I don't know about you
I
guys, but
didn't expect
I
the
blinked. I was like, did
dumpster
that
part.
happen?
I, I didn't expect it because I don't think that usually happens from the tops of garbage bins.
Yeah, like I didn't know like if it was because it was so cold and like
No,
there's a latch. Like, dude, that was nuts.
it's
Like
because
that's
the
the
It's like
most
move. It's
no.
because it's a ridiculous movie.
that garbage bin cover is the sharpest garbage bin
It-
cover on the planet.
exactly. Like it must be the heaviest, thickest metal
Thickest
top
and
of a garbage
sharpest
bin.
metal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because this lady gets freaking bisected.
Because like not only did she, oh no, she didn't get hit by the car, right? She like
No,
tried to
she
jump
jumped
in,
into
and
it,
then the
but then
car hit the bin, and then the bin
Yeah.
closed on her. And
then closed down
Right.
on her,
she
and
got,
she still got.
yeah, she
And
got.
then she got the rest of her body like put on the Walmart sign.
Dude, that was hilarious. And then the
Yeah, that
killer
was
makes this
nasty.
like I like that the killer like, oh, I'm gonna go and make like a social media account just to like almost like a like it's like a taunting everyone, but also taunting the
Specific
the
group.
the other killers too, or like the other people that were that get that his victims, the upcoming
Hmm.
victims. And it has like the foreshadowing of like, oh, everybody's nameplate on the table, and hey, come to this store on Black Friday, 50% off. That was
And then
so
it's like her bottom half of the body.
the bottom is like, who put that there? It's like, I don't know, someone, and they acknowledge that there's cameras, but they just have a guy in the suit, like, in the outfit going ahead and do it. On this, as a side note, I want this mask now. This mask is like, it's so like
It's
basic
weird.
and like, yeah, it's
This
like
should have come
perfectly
out before
weird.
Halloween so everyone could
But you
dress
can.
up
It's
for
called
But
Halloween.
you can't. It's
Thanksgiving.
called
I know.
exactly
Yeah.
So
Thanksgiving.
Halloween for next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a simple outfit. You just get like a full like black
And a
jumpsuit.
hat.
You get a pilgrim hat with a buckle and a mask. You're done. Easy. And but yeah, like the kills just kind of got more and more like perfectly ridiculous. Like I don't know, like the one security guard that the next victim, the security
That
guard
was
who
at his
ran away
house.
at his
Yeah.
house, because like the original Grindhouse trailer had a lot of these like it had like two beheadings basically. Like, do you remember the one where they were making out, Anthony?
Yeah, the guy in the car.
In the
And
car.
Yeah,
he's like, oh yeah, like they're about to like
which I
But I
think
think
was
it's
Eli
do
like
some
Roth.
she
sexual stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, and then you just hear like, ooh, and the girl's
No,
like, what's the matter? And she looks up, and the guy has no head.
but the other one where they're just like, "Oh no, like don't worry, you're safe with me," and they start making out
Oh yes,
in the middle of him making out, like
the guy's just like
he's
behind him and cuts his head off.
but
like
then
you don't even notice.
the logic was that like the killer had already was so close enough to cut his head off, but then he ran to the back. And then she realized it, and she freaked out. And then he started running over to her again. Like I was like, dude, this is hilarious and makes no sense. So, weirdly enough, the movie still like weirdly makes sense, even though it doesn't make sense overall. With like some of the
Part
other stuff,
Parts of the ending didn't make sense. I was like, I don't know. He
like
did some like Jason teleporting.
I still don't know how this dude,
But that's
like
like
again, like
what
the
all
second kill, like
killers are
how
good
this
at.
guy's head got like freaking decapitated with that wire. Like there's no like I don't think that wire was like and that leverage was
Oh, the
that
guy, the
much.
security guard.
Yeah, the security guy, like he had the torque to be able to do something. I was like, there's no like at least cut through it, but there's no way like that clean cut.
But they clearly show later on in the movie that the killer has like ridiculous strength.
That's true.
So
And another homage to the original trailer. Anthony, I'll let him explain.
for
Oh
which
man,
part, the
the
carnival?
trampoline. Yeah,
Oh, the
no, the
trampoline.
trampoline.
Oh god. Yeah, famous trampoline part where a jock and his cheerleader girlfriend sneak into like the gym after hours, and she's like, sit down in this chair, let me jump for you. And then she starts like stripping off her clothes while she's bouncing, and then he's sitting watching like, oh nice. And then while he's watching, he gets killed in the trailer. And then as she's bouncing, she does a air split, and right when she is about to land, a knife comes through the trampoline, and yeah, pretty,
Ouch.
yeah, pretty
Yep.
ouchies and gouchies. But but yeah, I mean, it wasn't as graphic. It was still pretty gruesome in the movie, but I'm glad they kept that scene in the movie because
I
once
think in the
we
movie it was like her foot landed on it. No,
yeah, for
it
Lena, and then she fell, and then
fell and then
each
got
time,
stabbed.
yeah, each like multiple bounce after she fell, like she kept getting stabbed in a different place.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were just when we saw that they were starting to walk toward a trampoline. I think me
Yeah,
and Xavier were like, oh, it's happening.
you
We
both were
looked
like,
around.
"Oh
We're
It's
my
like,
god,
happening.
the
We're like,
trampoline!"
yeah.
and like what? But then the unexpected part is like, yeah, we knew one that the jock was connected to the Black Friday event from the Thanksgiving event the
Hmm.
year before.
Yeah,
But like the way this dude died, like he straight up got like Stretch Armstrong twist cap, like
Yeah.
neck snap. Like it was hilarious.
The killer's like, let me show you my strength, and
The whole theater is
his
like,
neck
wait, what?
band stayed in
he
place.
turned into
Like,
like the Incredible Hulk and just like completely 360'd or 180'd his head.
Yeah, like the dude is just completely on the other side, and like that whole yeah that was like wait what, and it's cool because like that body like still shows up later on, but like it's funny how like things keep escalating, and like obviously it's like a slasher movie, so like hey the kids are gonna do something really stupid, like hey we're gonna go off on our own, and then they end up getting like
yeah, let's split up.
yeah let's split. It's like hey stay together, all right cool, let's split up immediately. I was like wait what, but
I mean,
like
all the kids in this movie are like pretty damn stupid, and you know, you part of you is kind of like, yeah, I don't really care if anything happens to these people because they're so dumb, and not all of them, but the majority of them are a holes or
yeah,
jerks.
You know who wasn't an a-hole, surprisingly enough? McCarty, the guy who I guess like got dropped out and was just selling guns at his dad's like gun shop. He
Yeah,
had to do the VIP. That
they
was
just treated him
hilarious.
like a degenerate. They're like, "Oh, get out of here! Why are you trying to sell guns to kids?"
Yeah, he's just like, I'm not trying to sell drugs, guns. I'm trying to sell alcohol. Like, the the whole bit where he has like that little kid like in his VIP thing. That
Like the
The,
that was
that
bouncer.
that's
hilarious.
well, his bouncer. That's the kid who was doing like the essay for the other jock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Um,
bonesawed the jock so hard. That was hilarious. He's like, "Wow, I enjoyed you reading that because that was my doctor. Was one of my college dissertations." He's like, "Oh snap, get
yeah, man,
wrecked."
you better pay the kid that does your homework
Yeah,
Chat
dude.
GPT.
for real.
Yeah. Like, oh, ChatGPT. No, it was plagiarized directly from the teacher.
No, I know, no, I know.
Yeah. And then he
That's
could
what
have
I'm saying.
even
He should have used
ChatGPT'd it.
Chat GPT instead.
Yeah, it's a tool, guys, not a crutch. Kidding. It's definitely a crutch. But like I think his name was Eric or something. Like yeah, you had that, and then Scuba. Like I loved that they kept calling him Scuba, and you're like, is that supposed to be a joke because you're black? He's like, no, it's because my last name's Diving. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
So
It's like
stupid.
it's like diving.
A lot of the dialogue in this movie is so stupid,
Dude, okay, so
and
there's this new
the acting with a lot of these kids is just like, man, these kids are terrible.
like there's this new
Scuba's pretty bad. His acting is
yeah,
pretty
but
bad.
it's like perfectly bad though. Like it's like
It might have been on
Like it
purpose.
was meant for the
it had to
like
be on
yeah.
Yeah,
purpose. A lot
I
of
don't
I
know.
think pretty sure like Eli Roth, I'm pretty sure smart enough to be like, all right, I need you to deliver this like this stupid movie from the '80s. Like do this, do it just like this. And but but I know we're glossing through some stuff, but like the who else got next? Oh man, so the the what this other girl? I think it was Scuba's girlfriend. Like they're oh we're just
What?
going to Florida. Like that death was
Oh
pretty
yeah.
nuts with
Oh, the
the
buzzsaw.
buzzsaw.
In the
Yeah.
ear too.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
the corn thing in the ear, that was like again
That
foreshadowing. You're
hurt.
like, oh man, someone's gonna happen. That's definitely eardrums are gonna be pierced. But like that was nuts. Where he's just like after like that all that happens, like Scuba's there. He's like, what do I do? I'm just like, wow,
Nothing. She's dead. Her
nothing.
like
She's hella dead.
intestines is like out of her body.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Uh,
gun was still on safety, so
Yeah.
yeah.
he
He's
couldn't
Why
like,
would
get
he
to.
buy a gun if he doesn't know how to use it?
to
Psh.
use it. He's like the safety was off or on. The what else? Yeah, that was
Well,
the VIP
like
section was
throughout that time, we're trying to guess the killer, and like
There were a lot
we're
of
each telling
red
each other
herrings.
like,
Yeah.
there are a
"Oh,
lot of
this
red
guy."
herrings. Yeah,
Oh,
there.
it's the partner. It's the sheriff's partner, or
Dude, the
it's
sheriff's
the.
partner is talking about bad acting. Dude, when he first
Oh my
rolls up
god,
in
dude.
his Bronco or whatever, he says "F you." Like it's so bad. It's so bad. Oh man, but
But I
before we
don't
get
think.
to like who the killer was, we
Yeah,
have to talk about two other things that were homages to the original trailer. One was the parade because you know like oh
Oh
they're gonna do a
yes.
parade. We're like no, we're not canceling the parade. We're gonna use the parade to as bait and like the whole bit with the parade like they added stuff to the parade. Let's just say that was pretty out of hand because like originally it was the guy in the pilgrim suit doing the decapitation of the uh,
The
the
turkey.
turkey suit, which is funny enough because the guy in the turkey suit was somebody from that event as well.
Was
So
it?
like,
Who
yeah, it
was
was
it? I forgot who's in the turkey suit.
yeah, it was a guy that did some trampling
I mean,
in the event.
the whole town was at that store on Black Friday.
Not
pretty
the whole
much,
town,
It pretty much it seemed
but
like
it
it.
felt like it. But not the whole town. But every major player in this movie was in that store
or at least
doing
everyone that
something.
died
Yeah,
for sure.
everyone that died was there, and people who didn't die were there too.
Yeah,
So again, it's like that whole like going full circle kind of thing. But yeah, you still get the decapitation, but it makes more sense because the red herring that we get initially, that person causes it was the wife, the husband of Gina Gershon's character who died that day. He shows up and he does like a protest, and there's like smoke grenades, and I'm just like, oh, this is perfect. Like
Yeah, yeah, because they showed him earlier putting on the mask, so you're like, oh man, he's gonna ruffle some feathers at this parade, but then it turned out to be something else.
debone this turkey. No, and it turned out being a creepy clown. Like I was like, damn, creepy clown suit, and like it was the cleanest cut, dude. Like that was hilarious, and like everybody's freaking out. And then what makes it funnier too is the truck
Oh, when
driving
it
the
crashed,
boat.
and then the
Well,
The
they
boat
cra-
stabbed the driver.
the
That
truck
guy,
crashed into the guy in the stilts, and then they had to
yeah,
slam on the brakes, and then
Yeah.
the boat float that was behind the truck, somehow, I don't know,
because
somehow
whoever made the boat
it was
they
too
didn't put the
realistic.
boat. It was too high, like, or it was too low. They should have made it higher so it clears over the truck. But
Uh-huh.
unfortunately, it didn't. So it rammed through the truck and into over the driver's head, basically turning him into Pinocchio.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then like I guess it was like the wife and the kid were in like the passenger seat and just like
They're,
blood spraying on them. They're like
they're
ah,
just
like they weren't
freaking
getting
out.
out of the car.
They're
It's
just
like
like ah, like they're
They
just
were
in
there for a
complete
good
shock.
solid minute.
yeah,
Yeah, they're just it's complete shock, and then at the same time, like, all right, everybody, we gotta get out, get out, get out, and then like they try to like get their escape, escape car, and too late because just like what happened before, everybody's getting darted, like tranquilizer darted. But the other scene I thought, I believe it or not, like we talk about this movie, is it a joke movie? It's not. It's more satire. Is it a parody? Is it satire? Like this one sequence, I felt was made it more in lines like, oh, it's gonna be satirical, but we're actually gonna, try in this. Was the whole like cat and mouse sequence in the house? Like that was actually pretty like decently done. Like I think
like
it was
like
like
the sequence after like everybody was around the table.
no, the
No,
sequence
before
before
with the
with the
I forgot
stepmom.
the character. Yeah, where
Yeah,
she was
remember
on
the
the
stepmom?
table.
She woke up and she's like, "Damn, I gotta
Oh
pretend I'm
yes, that's
asleep."
right. And then she finds that person in the refrigerator.
Yeah, she finds the cheerleader who she's technically still alive
Yeah, well
somehow.
that person's still there.
Yeah,
Did
no.
they ever come
Is that
back
who that
for
was?
her?
That was the cheerleader from the trampoline.
Yes, that was the
Oh
cheerleader
okay.
from the trampoline, and then he brought her out during the dinner to like, do the wine screw in her
Oh that's
jugular.
Oh,
right.
that's right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But that
Damn man,
whole
she just
sequence
kept
where
getting stabbed. Damn.
yeah, dude, this never ended until it did. So the stepmom, she's just like like again naturally making noise or all this stuff, and but like finding ways to hide and get around. And so you have the John Carver killer just walking around with the axe, like still just like, or like trying to like figure it out or look for stuff. It was pretty, like it was good tension. Like
Yeah,
I
she
I
got
have
a,
to
a
chalk it
good
up.
couple sneakaways for sure. Because usually
Yeah,
they're pretty dumb and
it was
like
like a survival horror game. She's like
make the
doing her best
loudest noise.
to sneak out.
I honestly, yeah, that felt a lot like uh was that Dead by Daylight or something like that? No, it was
No,
the
no,
other
no.
one. What's the other one where it's
Um,
like 4 on 1 and like the game
Le-
is like
Left 4 Dead.
no,
No,
Left 4 Dead is the
Dead by Daylight is the game where you like run away from like horror icons and you're
yeah,
supposed to
so
just
Mhm.
that's Dead by Daylight. Yeah,
yeah
that's the
yeah.
one where it's just like you're hiding through all this stuff, so you have to like set stuff off and you
Oh, I
have to
thought you were
yeah.
talking about like Outlast, where it's just like all you have is that flashlight and you're just trying to escape from people.
The
Um
video camera.
similarly, but
Hmm.
because it's now horror icons, like I think it made more sense like Dead by
I
Daylight.
I'm sure they're gonna put this character into that game. That game still is going on because my brother plays it.
Is it? I thought it
Yeah.
finally like stopped getting
No, it's
support.
No
still
way, dude.
it's still
It's still
going.
popular and still going
It's
on.
still going? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So I'm sure they're gonna add this character to it.
All right, they have to, dude. Like that, it's just the catchphrases are too good. Like you get to the killer's like lair where they're setting everything up, and you have the posters of all the people, and they're planning everything, and you have the all will be carved. There will be no leftovers. Like there's the
Dude,
the, the
the no
catchphrases.
leftovers line. Oh my god.
I love that. There's no leftovers. Just like Anthony's pointing out. It's too good. Like, yeah, like you get the Thanksgiving dinner scene, which is like
All the
not as
puns.
gruesome, but still pretty gruesome. You got the whole like, the killer
Oh,
distorted voice with all the puns.
like he all the puns after he stabs the girl in the jugular. He's like, "This is here's some wine."
It's
He's
vintage, you
ugh.
know, freshly corked, or like, oh, Kathleen stayed in the oven all day for you, like, like just like all of these things is just like, oh, set the table, like there's so many of those like it's messed up, gruesome, but also like darkly funny. Um, and then you have like the
Oh,
uh,
dude, the freaking mallet.
dude, who made that
Oh my
mallet?
god, I don't
Like
know,
who?
but that was probably like the hardest. It was like after the first hit, the guy was gone,
Oh yeah, yeah, he was completely gone. But
and then
like
he's like, "Let me do a couple more hits."
it was just like, oh, so, subtlety's gone now. You have to just hit people over the head with it. It's like, damn, okay. Like that was like setting it up.
And
And
he was
like again,
recording it too. He's like, maybe this will go viral.
yeah, exactly. Just taunting him just before he's like, any last words? And he's just like, oh yeah, but it's like, damn,
And then
poor
they- and
choice
then
of words.
and then they go back to the stream, and then like thousands of people are liking the stream. Like after he gets killed, it's like
Yeah.
it's so messed up.
Yep, and they're like, oh, there
and
he
and all
goes.
the
Obviously,
comments too.
Mhm.
yeah. Was there a comment that said no leftovers? I don't know if it was there, but I think
There was a line as a comment because I know we reacted to it. I just don't remember what it said.
oh my god, yeah, it was something really like hilariously deranged.
It was
But
either that or like 50% off or something like
no,
one of
but
those
that was funny
famous
because that
lines.
character was freaking out because like they're getting all set up for that day. It was like how I know what you did last summer kind of thing, where he's just like,
Mhm.
guys, we don't do something, we're all gonna be 50% off, and I'm like, I think me and like half the theater of like 30 something people in there are cracking up because of because of that line of just you're gonna be 50%
Oh
off.
my god! I just remember in the theater when there,
Yes.
there's a scene where the girl's calling out dad
Yulia, yeah, she's just like, Dad.
or dad, and this guy goes,
Oh, the
"Yeah,
Russian guy, right?
yeah." Some guy in the theater goes like, "Yeah."
It was awesome. And it was perfect because like nothing else was happening. So I was
Yeah,
Yeah, it
like, at
was
like
first
it
I
very
was
was
like,
dead
silent.
silent.
it's dead silent, but like nothing came through afterwards. Like again, like the little like fake outs. I was like, oh, that was perfect. Like if it was timed wrong, like
Yeah,
like that could have like ruined the movie, but it totally didn't. So that
it
guy
was
either in
perfect.
our theater either got really lucky or he knew what was up.
So yeah, by that point of the movie, like so we already knew, or we kind of had a feeling that it wasn't the husband of the wife who died, because they kind of already did the fake out at the parade. But then as we get closer to the end of the movie, you still think, oh, maybe it's the either the kid, the baseball kid, because he
Yeah,
was acting shady before. Maybe it's the main girl's
the
boyfriend
new
who
boyfriend,
New boyfriend who was
I don't.
there before. He was there
Yeah,
before.
but he's in like four scenes of the movie. He like disappears for like
the
40
last
minutes of
half.
the movie. Yeah, it's
Again,
weird.
another
So
red
all these
herring.
exactly all these characters that you may have thought were the killer like don't appear for a very long stretch of the movie. And so you're like, where are they? So it makes you think, oh, maybe it's one of these people. I think we mentioned earlier that we thought it might have been the sheriff's partner,
Yeah,
just because he was semi tall
tall.
and thin like the
And he
killers.
wore the mask, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he put the mask on at the
Yeah, he took
beginning
the mask on in the beginning, and we're like,
just to
"Hmm,
throw you off. You're like, maybe it's a
yeah."
foreshadowing, but it wasn't. But
It wasn't. It was a completely other twist that, like Anthony's point, which I'll let him kind of go over, like, part of the last act, it's kinda like the reveal, it's kinda like, reveal, expo dump, but then it's like, okay, that's kind of annoying, but then there was also like, oh, there were some clues actually there
Like it
before, which
actually
is pretty
makes
good.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah. That's why, like, it was like, yeah, cheesy, but also like, yeah, I'll give it to him for like, hey, like, at least if you were really paying attention, you could have deduced it. So like,
yes,
again,
was it?
spoilers.
Yeah, after the whole dinner scene, it being creepy and weirdly funny. Two of the characters end up breaking out of their ropes because they're all tied to chairs, and then they run away from the killer, running through the house, and then they end up getting outside. Or one of them does, right?
Yeah, because
Just
the other
just a
one,
girl.
because Scuba got his arm broken with the axe slash,
Yeah,
but then the killer went after
yeah,
Jessica instead.
yeah. And they like ran through the forest, I guess. I don't know where they were,
There's
but
a
they're
zoom in shot on on John Carver's like pant that goes through like one of those like weird weeds that get stuck on your pants. I was
it's
just
like a
like, that's on purpose. Come
it's like
on.
a poppy field.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then she ends up getting away from him. But I guess that she know later on when she runs, I guess toward civilization, or it's like a street where I guess was it close to the police station. I'm not really sure where that was, but
it's like some warehouse for
It
the
was close to
parade.
like
No,
yeah, like the parade
oh
warehouse.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the warehouse where they were making the floats. So
Mhm.
she went
yeah,
back to that area, and then I think she sees
the
her
cop, the sheriff.
ex-boyfriend.
She
Well, no,
sees Bobby.
she sees
Mm,
Bobby
proof.
going into the door of the warehouse. So you think, oh, it's this guy, and then you see Patrick Dempsey, the sheriff, on the floor, like
Bleeding.
beat up or bleeding. And then she's like, "Oh, what happened? What happened?" And then I don't know, he looked knocked out, but he wasn't dead. And so she's trying to tell him like, "Oh, I think it's Bobby." And then so she runs after him in the warehouse. Um, and then the sheriff gets back up, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll help you out." And then he I guess goes in and tries to shoot Bobby. It doesn't work, and they kind of both of them kind of just stay in like a section of the warehouse that's like secluded. And then all of a sudden she starts noticing stuff about his clothes, and then she sees that he has these like big black like boots with that, what was it, that like what do you call it, like
That
feathered
weird little
plant?
like
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
it's
a
like that weird little weed thing that gets stuck on your pant legs.
whatever plants they were running through on the grass, like it got stuck on his pants, and she noticed that, hey, this guy has the same thing that the killer did, and then that's when she realized,
She
hey,
put it
it's the
together.
sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah, she put it together as the sheriff.
It's
But her
Patrick
being,
Dempsey.
yeah, I mean, it was a interesting twist, but then it's like, at least for me, I thought it was like, so she was running away from him and he did not catch her, the killer. um
But still made it in front of her,
and
knocked
so
out.
exactly, so somehow he teleported in front of her to that warehouse, so to put up makeup or whatever. I don't even know if it was makeup or if it was like a real hit.
Or he actually like hit himself. Yeah.
Yeah, and then went on the floor and pretended to be knocked out. It's like, how did he do all that before she even got there?
I think so. Here's where I'm gonna
He
play
probably got
devil's
in the
advocate.
car
The
and
thing
it
is,
was
I
like
don't
a
even
long
think you have
distance.
to, because I think you just chalk it up to being like, it's sloppy, and it might be sloppy on purpose, because that's how that this movie is. It's one of those like
It's
sloppy,
sloppy, but
very
on purpose.
cheesy and dumb horror movies, and a lot of dumb horror movies do stuff like this, where it's just like, how did that happen? Whatever, it was the killer. It doesn't matter.
Like, well, so the thing is, what if I'm gonna make a case for it is that like remember when she landed, she twisted her ankle, so she was moving hella slow, but she went over a fence, and that's why he
Right.
just like if you
So
were
did
on the
he like,
fence for just
he
one
went
more
around the fence, and did that take? I'm sure that took longer than going over the fence.
Maybe it was a shortcut.
or
Maybe it
maybe
was
there
like
was
at
like
the end.
or maybe there's he got to a different road to then cut her off on that part to then try to like lure her in with a bit a little bait and switch.
But that's one
Hard
of
to say.
those, we're saying all these maybes, and that's one of those where it's like, if that was the case, all they needed was like one extra shot, maybe like a 10
Maybe it
second
was
shot
cut.
of him. Yeah, exactly. But of him just
Why
like
would you
running
cut
around.
stuff like that in in a
Exactly.
movie like that?
you,
Like,
you cut out the thing that shows that like he will beat her to her destination.
yeah,
It's like, okay.
like
But then
okay,
I guess
sure,
that ruins the reveal unless they would have done it afterwards and like explained.
true,
Kind of like
yeah.
a go back in
or
time.
or a shot of her stopping somewhere else before she got to that area,
Ah, okay.
because
Yeah.
then it would have
Yeah,
been like, okay, well, she's over here looking over here, I'm gonna run across and pretend I'm gonna be knocked out on the floor. But anyways, yeah, it was like, it happened, you're like, wait, what? And so when the reveal happened, you're like, it sort of makes sense, like the reasoning makes sense of like why he's angry at all these people, but it's like, but how did he get there? But it didn't matter, it was still
yeah,
cool. It's like, okay, that's pretty cool that he
and
ended up being the killer.
dude, okay, and then I don't know if we were the only ones who noticed and we laughed because of how ridiculous it was. So like she's kind of stuck there with Patrick Dent with the sheriff after he gives
Yeah.
his whole explanation about like the wife who died. They were having an affair. They had a secret baby that never got born, and
Yeah, that
he's
sucked.
having his revenge, and like he's about to grab stuff. He's talking about it's all in the details, and then like out of nowhere he gets smacked in the head with a baseball.
It's hilarious.
I
Because
I
didn't
was like,
Bobby
notice it
comes
was a
I
out and like
baseball.
he's
I
like,
guess
"Yeah,
this
my,"
kid, I
because
guess his hand
remember,
is working now.
no, because he said my rehab's going really great. I might be able
Yeah.
to get back into it. So he's like, "No way to test it now." Smacks him.
But like,
And,
how did he know he was in there, and how did he know, like, how could he see that, like, oh, this is where I'm gonna hit him? Like
I don't think he was that like because like he goes through the window. I guess he could have seen it and it's just like
whatever, it was hilarious.
it's not a one-way mirror. Like the window wasn't a one-way mirror, so you can see through it. But it's just funny because then you get to that final chase sequence and he just starts yelling, "There's no leftovers, Jessica!" It's like this is great. Like you can tell at that point Patrick Dempsey's like, "All right, I get to have fun now."
Yeah,
Oh,
he gets it like
and she gave him the Uno reverse, and
Yep.
pretty much got his whole confession on live stream.
that's
Yeah.
right.
He's like,
Yeah,
"What are you
cuz
thankful for,
cuz
Jessica? Your cell phone signal or like cell phone signal or reception in here." I was like, "Damn,
cuz
bonesaw."
she got the phone that was in like
In one of the
evidence.
evidence bags, yeah.
It was Bobby's phone, and because she
Yeah.
dated him, she knows his code, so he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I know how to get in here." So, that was pretty clever. I was like, "You know what? That's pretty smart. That's pretty
And then
cool."
the stream, dude, people are popping on those streams.
I
Yeah,
know.
dude. I was like, yo, this is some wild like darknet stuff. Like,
Like
how
Like
are
the
you
why
getting
why
whole
into
aren't you
this?
like the whole
why
town is watching the stream.
yeah, why aren't you guys like having dinner with your families?
Or why aren't you guys like buckling down and not freaking out because there's a serial killer in Plymouth, Massachusetts, of all
Right.
places? Oh man. And the whole point, I love it. It's like we're not gonna close the store. We're not gonna get rid of the deal. It's just like, dude, chill out. Like all of that
All
was
for
was
a
nuts.
waffle iron.
Yeah, all for a waffle iron, guys. Oh man, but like as a total, like what did you guys think about the total the package or the full course meal, should I say?
It definitely had an appetizer, an entree, a dessert.
Man. Yeah, like it's really really funny. Like it was funny, again gruesome, but it also like did some things really well surprisingly. Like I wasn't expecting that. Like again, that whole house chase
Yeah.
sequence was really well done. And then the end is like, "Nah, screw this, Lance." Like pitchfork. The
The
pitchfork toss.
for me the best part was the was at the end they're trying to run away from the warehouse, but then this guy gets like the cable that's attached to the truck and wraps it around one of the metallic beams of the warehouse, and so the truck isn't going anywhere. But because earlier they inflated a turkey, they and
With
because this
flammable gas.
with
Remember, guys,
flammable
it's
gas,
flammable gas.
and then because this girl knows how to
Fire the musket
fire the musket because she's been doing that for her whole life,
Because of the
for no
stupid
reason.
commercials.
and then
No,
she
it's because of the commercials for the
yeah,
No,
store.
I know.
and
It's
then
so
she
dumb.
shoved her bracelet in there to whatever
The
she
Her,
bracelet thing with the knife,
with
remember?
yeah, yeah.
no,
With
it was and yeah,
with a
no,
blade.
it was the bracelet that the ring was
The
given to
ring
her
was with
by
the knife.
Ah,
McCarty, but
that's right. Yeah.
her bracelet was because of her biological mom who had died before the dad
Mhm,
married the stepmom that got turned
mhm.
into a turkey. But yeah, so she's like,
Yeah,
"Thanks, mom," and like her mom saved her life by blowing up the freaking inflatable
she
turkey, and
blows
like,
up the turkey, and then like
And then they're like, "Oh, no body was ever found."
yeah, like there was a huge explosion, and then right after the explosion, the truck magically drives out of the warehouse. I was like, wasn't it connected to the
Yeah,
beam? Like
it
the
was
beam
tied
got
through something.
displaced by the explosion. They're
if
like,
the
dude, I
beam
don't
got
care.
displaced, then the warehouse would have fallen. Like
For like 20 minutes, Anthony was hung up on that one
I was just like,
particular thing.
guys, how did they escape this warehouse? I was like,
It's
did the
like, wasn't the
Like the
explosion
warehouse
cable just disappeared.
the
like did
explosion melted the cable?
did the cable break from the truck? Like I don't know. Like so he's like, I don't
It
understand. Like I don't remember. Like if anyone who
it was
does listen to this and that you did watch that, like please provide the answer. Danny will be
there is no
combing
answer.
through,
Just like
combing
how
through.
I don't think he died in that explosion either, especially with how stupid they were. Like, I don't think anybody could survive that.
Oh, he
Uh,
obviously survived. Come on,
yeah,
Oh,
like
for
you
there's
sure.
guys
gonna
They're
are
gonna make
be
a sequel.
there's gonna
there will be
be
leftovers.
Thanksgiving or whatever you're gonna call the sequel.
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving
2.
harder.
The leftovers.
More yeah, more grateful. I don't
Thanksgiving
know.
2 overcooked. I don't know what they're gonna call it, but
Double based, flame broiled like the Whopper, and then Burger King soup. No, I'm kidding. But overall, like I had a lot of fun time with it. Like yeah, like you have to like these kind of movies. Like if you're gonna be very objective, maybe you give it like a 6 or something. But like I would give it a 7, just because again I was thoroughly entertained, even though there's like the perfect amount of jank in the movie.
Watch it with your friends. Have a fun time.
Preferably
yeah,
before you eat. Maybe
Thanksgiving.
maybe not
Well,
after
maybe
you eat,
after.
'cause
or maybe after, because if you do it before you eat, then you're not gonna want to eat.
yeah, but I'd rather not want to eat than possibly, vomit, because there's a couple vomits. There's like one vomit scene, and there's again the brain tenderizer. Like that was mush. Like, and you can tell like it's a dummy, so it's like really funny, like low budget, but like it's also like the effect was still there. Um, yeah, man. Overall, I think a pretty cool addition to the slasher genre. Cool costume. I really, it's a mask that's a replica of like an old painting from like John Carver's painting in Massachusetts. It's pretty dope. I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I like
I
that. I like
definitely. Okay.
no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I'd say I definitely rewatch this on Thanksgiving. Make it a movie
Annual
to
tradition.
a
make it a
tradition.
Thanksgiving tradition, and then you could
Yeah.
wash it down with some Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving movie. Spider-Man is a Thanksgiving movie alongside Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Um,
Yeah, there aren't that many, but I think this
Had to
one
fight
is like
a had to fight an old lady.
yeah, he had to beat. Yeah, he had to beat an old lady with a stick. with it.
Yeah.
So that does that mean like I love how like you can think about that as in a quick aside before we wrap it up. Did Peter like did he beat an old lady with a stick or did he beat an old lady who had a stick? Or did he beat her in the sense that he got to it before her? Like it's
All of them are bad. All of them are bad.
exact. Well, yeah, they're all bad, but it's like, damn, Peter. But it's just funny to see how like that whole family, like all those people came together because Peter finally brought the can of cranberry juice. Too good. Yeah, but cranberry juice, a lot of blood in Thanksgiving, in this movie. So yeah,
Yeah, it
guys,
was
great.
it was entertaining. I mean, we knew it was going to be ridiculous, and it was. It was, bad dialogue, um, some bad acting, probably on purpose. But
We're
even if it
playing the
wasn't, you're
game.
like,
I'm gonna go out there. You can't play a game with one person. Watch me. I'm like, that's so dumb.
he was gonna go play football by himself. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, screw those Hanover kids.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He's like, I punched that guy in the eye.
And then you see the kid, but he's that guy Lonnie in the in the in the line with the black eye. I was like, dude, that's the same guy. It's great. And like it's like, what if it's the same guy, guys? And it's like, it just like, things connected. It was like too great. Like there's
what
too much.
what
Ah.
what about the kid in the classroom who read his essay? I was like, I don't want to.
Chad, I'm
Oh,
never.
oh, with
I'm
all
not
the
gonna
girls
celebrate
like after
Thanksgiving
him.
again. And his name is Chad.
He just lifts he's like, "Thanks, Chad, for being so vulnerable." And then, like, at the end of it, he like lifts up partially his shirt to wipe his like
To
fake
wipe his
tears,
yeah.
and
Let me
all the
show you
girls are
my
like,
eight
"Oh my
pack
god!"
abs.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh my god, Chad!" And he's leaving after this kid gets bone sawed with the fake essay. Like Chad's leaving with both girls like on him. I'm just like, that's the Chad move. There you go. Like the ultimate winner of this movie was Chad
Was Chad. He didn't die. And
this year or any year. It's so good.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say it's a good movie, but it's stupid fun and entertaining. So definitely
It's a
not
fun
something.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
it's
yeah.
something to make
definitely
not something to watch like on your own. You'd be like, yeah, it's time to watch Thanksgiving. It's like, no, you want to watch it in like with a group of people and just like laugh at it, have
For
fun
sure.
with it.
yeah, laugh with it sometimes too because there's
Yes, yes.
legitimately things that they do on purpose. It's too good.
Hmm.
Shout out to Eli
Definitely the
Roth.
quotes.
Yeah, thank you so much for, taking what 16 years to finally make this movie.
Yeah.
Um, thank you so much, sir.
So
It was a delight.
so maybe Don't will be next
Hopefully, but
from
all I
Edgar
know
Wright.
is like Danny said, we're definitely coming back for seconds for this movie. I had to, guys.
Nice.
I had to.
Yeah,
With that,
I'd
everybody.
I'd probably
Yep.
give it like a 6.57, kind of like
Yeah,
the same.
Yeah. I'll
I
give it a
agree.
7 too. Just solid
Nice.
all around.
All in agreement. Very nicely done, guys. With that, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We finally got like full video this time around. So if you like this format, please let us know. Uh, we're gonna be on, of course, Instagram, your podcast platform of choice, but we're also gonna have this video up on YouTube. Gonna be out on Black Friday of 2023. So while
Oof.
you're getting your shopping on or waiting for your cart to refresh, go ahead and give us a listen. A lot of fun. And if you haven't gone to see it yet and you still listen to the episode, go ahead and give another viewing of Thanksgiving by Eli
Stay
Roth.
safe while you're shopping too.
Yeah, man. Don't get
Be
trampled.
careful with
Don't
those waffle
waffle
makers.
irons or glass or other wild stuff. Just and don't be a degenerate. So much. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Until next time. Thank you.
Later.
Gobble gobble.
No leftovers.